I got swatted a couple days ago. Did you guys see about that?
I saw the photo
more.
you posted online. Yeah.
Have you guys been swatted before?
I have a couple times.
I
don't know how many times, but enough that I don't know. I lost count.
Oh,
I've had
really?
to talk to my local PD many times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the swatting like in your? I don't know exactly where you guys live, but LAPD, they really wanted to show off all their stuff on Sunday morning when I got swatted. I woke up to a phone call. I had been up doing drugs all night. I woke up to a phone call and said, "Hey." Usually I don't even pick up the phone if I don't know the number. I woke up and the guy said, "Hey, this is the police." And I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "Yeah, we had a call that you killed your wife, and that we should come get you." And I was like, "Oh, well, first of all, I hope that's true, that I did kill my wife, but I kind of doubt it. She's not here
Anymore.
I said, "I think you're being." I said, "Wait, let me." I think you're being pranked. Like, this is a swatting that you're getting. I didn't kill my girlfriend. First of all, stop saying that. Stop saying the W word. But I didn't kill my girlfriend. And he goes, "Huh, okay." And then I wake up a little bit and I hear helicopters going around, a sound I haven't heard since I lived in Hollywood. And I'm like, "Bro, are these helicopters for me? Like, I live in a nice area, so I haven't heard a helicopter. I haven't heard a ghetto bird in a long time." But I'm like, is this for me?" He goes, "Yeah, we got a lot of guys out here." I'm like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, if what you're saying is true." And I'm like, "Bro, it's true. Wait. I didn't shoot anybody. I definitely didn't shoot my fucking wife."
Either way, it's pretty flattering to send that many guys.
Yeah. I was like, how many guys you got? It's not enough. You'll never take me alive, copper.
Yeah, I didn't kill her, but now I think I might.
So I said, "Yeah, okay." And he goes, "You got any more people in there with you?" "Yeah, breathe them out." I said, "Yeah, my buddy is here. He spent the night. He's in the other room." And he goes, he's like really confused by this. I'm kind of like disappointed. I can tell they wanted to just come in and use all their cool guns. Yeah. And he's like, "Okay, well, why don't you go wake him up, and we're gonna need you to come outside. Don't go outside until I call you back." I'm like, "What? Or what?" Like, "Can I go outside a little bit?" And he goes, "No, don't go outside." And I said, "I have a dog in here." And he goes, No, hold on, I'll call you back." So
Don't strum the dog.
I hang up the phone, and I'm like, "Fuck, how many felonies do I have?" Okay, let's go through guns. I know there's a bunch of drugs upstairs. I gotta start getting rid of shit. So I go knock on my friends. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, wake up. The cops are here. We have to go outside. They think I killed my wife. I didn't. Wake up, come on out." And I get a text from my girlfriend who was out getting me acai bowls. Every Sunday morning, she takes our dog to the park and gets us acai bowls, which I hate because you eat it and then you're hungry in like an hour and a half. So I'm starving. I always end up eating more when she tries to get me to like eat less, because I'm like,
Sure,
well,
I know how that is.
It's like 1:30. Now I'm angry and hungry.
Second lunch.
I need to pound some sausages down to get rid of that acai. So she goes, "Hey, I'm up with the cops. There's a shitload of cops here. You better clean things up and get ready for their call." And I'm like, no, I'm way ahead of you. Don't
worry. I've taken everything.
Don't fucking talk to me about. So her story is hilarious. I found it out later. She got stopped by the cops. She was coming back home with our acai bowls, and she got stopped. The cops had barricaded my street, like up and there's a couple different ways up into this mountain. I'm like Al Qaeda. I live in a mountain bunker, fortress. They blocked off the roads coming in and out, and she drove up, and she was like, "What the fuck? There's a helicopter in the sky. There's all this shit." And her Citizen app lit up. You guys know that app?
And I don't know what that is.
It's like a crime reporting app. It's just a feed of crimes that happen, which women have, and then get all, "Ooh, there's a fucking stabbing. Ooh, there was a break-in. Ooh," right? I'm so scared. Ooh, honey. I'm so horny. What would you do? Then they go, what would you do? I'm like, I broke in. I'm like, babe, I would fucking end that guy, right? I would fucking chop.
Brian, back to the
asshole.
swatting. I want to know.
Okay, so the cop calls back and he says, okay, you need to leave your house and put your hands on your head and walk down the street. And I was like, okay, I have an old dog in here. Please don't shoot it. He goes, put the dog outside. Tell the dog to put their hands on their heads. Too. I, like, okay.
Put your paws on your head.
I put the dog out, and my buddy and I start walking down the street like this, and it's like dead, like the apocalypse dead, like weirdly dead. And neighbors are kind of poking their heads out, and they're all like annoyed because like if I'm involved, I did it. Right?
They finally got that son of a bitch. I told
fucking
you
did.
it was a kitty fucker.
Even the party house, like the Airbnb house, that's always different people, dude. They're like waking up, like, "Oh, you motherfucker! Like, I know what you did." So we get down the street, and the cops. We see the cops. I think I'm being pranked by like fake police because they're just nowhere. I'm like, why do I have my hands on my? Can I like go like this? Am I gonna get shot? We get down the street like a quarter mile, I don't know, and the cops like are seen, like they're around the corner, and there's a shitload of them, and they all, of course, they all have their guns out, like, following all their dumb shields. They're all parked like aggressively, coply. They can't just pull over like normal.
Punisher logos littered throughout.
Yeah, I said, guys, there's a school shooting up here, and they all went, oh, ran away.
Scattered and ran.
The ultimate ace card for cops.
Children are in danger.
Diving over. Ferris Bueller music started playing.
the kids take
And
care
the
of
cops running away. So like, okay, stop, turn around. And I'm like, man, it's okay. So like, you, the blue shirt, walk backwards. And I'm like, man, that was my buddy. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but it looks like you're getting executed here today, buddy. Because we can't hear. So they're talking in like a bullhorn that they picked up on the way over from like a thrift store. Like, well, you're in a blue shirt. Can you try to swing backwards? And they're doing like cop talk, that annoying cop talk. I'm like, please, sir, can you please proceed to turn your individual self around? I'm like, man, what the fuck did you say? So he goes back, and they're like, well, turn to the side and crab walk. So he's crab walking. I'm like, all right, that's odd. And they go, lay down, put your ankles on the ground, lay down with your face down, your cheek on the asphalt. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is a nice fucking neighborhood. We're laying in the fucking street? Like, we can't lay in the yard that's right there? So he goes, all right, you with the long hair. I'm like, all right. So I go, well, having that repeated is not going to help. So I'm just going to start walking backwards, and if they shoot me, then I guess I did the wrong thing. So I start walking slow backwards, and I'm like, okay, no reaction from the dealing with the fucking cops and the whole time you're thinking, if you freak out, they'll freak out, right? Like,
yeah. Do you think they would have if you would have been like, I can't understand you? I don't know.
So I'm walking. They have me walk sideways then after I walked backwards for a little bit. Okay.
Sir, curl that 2-pound dumbbell with your right arm. I can't. Sir, we're going to kill your friend.
And I'm trying to angle my way accidentally. I'm trying to walk towards grass. And they're like, sir, can you just straighten out? Okay, fuck. So I'm walking over, and they have me walk past him. And then I see this little piece of shade in the distance. There's a tree. There's 2 pieces of shade, and they laid him down in one of the pieces of shade. And I'm like, are you fucking dicks walking me over to the other piece of shade to lay? That's nice of you, but why don't you just say either you think I killed my wife or you don't. Just say, can you go walk over to the shade and lay down? So I get to the shade, they're like, I'm like, all right. Like, well, put your hand down, put your face on the asphalt, put your cheek, put your knees down, put your ankles down. Okay, man, fuck. So they run over, and I'm expecting like a bunch of like flying fucking George Floyd knees to the back, right? I'm bracing for it. I'm like, man, they come over. I'm like, man, I just had surgery on this arm. Please do not fuck with my arm. Please don't fuck with my arm. And they're like, okay. Put the cuffs on.
This is my stabbing arm.
This is mine.
Exhausted right now.
Joke's on you. I was hiding a fucking Derringer hooker gun in that fucking scar. So they're like, okay, we're gonna need you to turn over. Can you take your down leg clockwise and lift it up? I'm like, man, what? Like, I know how to sit up. What do you mean? You don't need to direct me on.
Sit up.
Like they're like pulling at my arms like one of those artist dummies. You know, those little posing anatomy dummies. I'm like, just get away. Like, I
now
can
here,
sit
sir,
up
we're gonna transition to you to a position where your feet will hold your full weight. Like,
yeah, it's like, sir, what we call this is a controlled fall. Okay, you're gonna want to let gravity take control, and then when you feel unsafe, that's when you move your foot forward. It's called walking, dude. So we get over, and like they start digging around for our IDs. I'm like, well, you guys didn't say to bring your ID, by the way, when you told us to come out here. And I'm like, oh fuck! The only place I didn't check for drugs was my fucking pockets. Shit. So they pull out my phone, and they're to my friend. My friend is a gay guy, like obviously gay. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, I bet this isn't what you wanted to be doing on Sunday morning. He goes, well, it could be worse. I could be in church. So they're like going through their cop shit. I'm like, all right, so do you have any guns in the house? I'm like, yeah. What do you kiss your mother with those lips?
Do I look like a liberal?
What do I look like? A fucking
You do have long hair.
Some pansy?
Fruity ass? What do I look like? Some kind of so after 10 minutes of that, they're like, well, will any go off? Like, accidentally? I'm like, motherfucker, are you asking me if I have any booby traps in my house? No, I don't have any booby traps in my
There's a series of paint cans you're gonna have to look out for.
There's a tarantula loose in my house, you pigs! Good luck dealing with my brother's tarantula, you motherfuckers!
If you try and get in the window, there are broken ornaments in case you try and turn you back.
Like, you got a lot of booby traps? That the guys are like, okay, cops, watch out for the booby traps that I put all over the house for you guys.
Yeah. My whole living room is a punji pit. Be careful.
So they're about to go in. They've got all of their guns out. I live like a quarter mile. Like they start moving their phalanx of their cars with the doors open and all their guns out. I'm like, guys, I mean, come on. Like I live here. And I said, oh, wait. There is a sex doll in the basement downstairs. And everybody is a real doll in the basement downstairs, and everybody who sees it gets freaked out. So do not see the real doll and just start blasting, okay? That is not a woman. And they pause, and it's like, and they're like, okay, wait, we gotta call, hold on. You say you're a streamer? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you stream with the doll? I said, no, yes. I'm a comedian. It's a prop, like a comedy show. Someone gave it to me as a joke. And they're like, that look of like, when people just don't get a joke. It's like, come on, man. Just one of you please explain it to the other ones why that's funny. They're like, okay. Well, we'll check it out. We'll check this out. So they go. They're asking me all this bullshit. The neighbors are coming over. Guys are saying, "Hey, this truck full of Mexicans pull up." And they're like, "Hey, can we get through? We got to clean a pool." And they're like, "Oh, it'll be 10 minutes." And then the cop turns back to me and goes like, "Or 30." I'm like, "Man, I'm not the fucking demo for this fucking riff." He's like elbow. He turns back and he's like, "Or 30," like elbow. And I'm like, "I'm putting fucking handcuffs, you dickhead." My fucking acai is getting warm. Okay, are you gonna go refreeze my acai bowl after this? I don't think you are. So the neighbor sees me and they're like, "Oh yeah, my kid just saw you on Citizen." The cops are. the cops, people are driving by where my girlfriend's at, and they told her to calm down because she told them, they asked her if I had any guns. She goes, why don't you fucking find out for yourself? I said, oh, calm down, ma'am. People are driving by, and they're like, what happened down here? And the cops go, somebody shot somebody. And she's like, no, nobody shot anybody. I'm the one he shot. So the cops come back. Cops come back after whatever, 30 minutes, 29 minutes. And they're like, yeah, no, it's clear. The house is clear. And one of them, like the biggest looking one, comes over to me and goes, I saw that sex doll, and it did freak me out. Like, thank you. Thank you for listening to me when I said don't get freaked out. He's like, yeah, totally. Because it looks like she's also like slumped over like the ring.
I saw that sex doll, and it did freak me out.
It did freak me out.
There's one nice cop there.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Anyway, that's what happened.
That is so fucking ridiculous.
Fun.
Did they apologize? How did it wrap?
Oh, no, they were so pissed because, like, all the things I've ever reported to the LAPD that they don't give a fuck about, this one, you could tell that they gave a fuck. I'm like, hey, here's video evidence of me getting assaulted by this guy. And they're like, well, what do you want us to do about it? Here's my girl.
Mad
Here's
at you for being swatted?
No, they were pissed. They were pissed that they look like assholes. So the guy was like, oh, yeah, the guy who did this is wasting a lot of resources. He's in big trouble. I'm like, well, good luck, dude. I'm going to be honest. I don't think you can find him. I don't think you can do it, but prove me wrong.
I don't think you're going to find Pussy Slayer 420.
My SWAT team wanted
He's
to kill
sly.
me. Like, they were... So I found it maybe 6 months later. The members of the SWAT team went on a podcast and talked about my swatting incident.
What?
And, yeah. And he's like, you know, it's not every day you go to work knowing that you're going to kill somebody. And I'm like, you mean me, right? You mean me? Yeah, he's talking about me. And so what had happened in my swatting incident was someone used AT&T's like teletype service. So what happens if you can't, if you're deaf, then AT&T offers a service. Well, they will type what you say or whatever. Like you can type to them and then they speak to 911. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. So that was a way for them to be less traceable because 911 they didn't call 911 directly. Instead, AT&T is talking to 911 and it's a level of indirection. And they're posing as my deaf child hiding under the stairs. And I have already murdered in this scenario my wife and other kid. They're the only one left hiding under the bed looking for help.
Mm-hmm. Ridiculous, by the way, because you'd be able to find that deaf child in just a few minutes.
Exactly. Much like any other predator, I would take out the weakest first, right? That's how lions hunt.
If Woody wanted to kill his whole family, he's doing it 100 times out of 100. They're not escaping. He's too quick.
Don't tell me that the disabled child is the one who's escaped my grasp. It's inconceivable.
Yeah.
Maybe he has deaf superpowers. Like his vision is increased. So he can see through walls or something.
But so what happened with me is like I think I had just wrapped up a live stream and my wife is like, there's people outside. And I'm like, what? I thought it was inherently ridiculous. But my mind isn't on swatting because this is a fairly new phenomenon at the time. I thought there were banditos outside. That was my first guess that there was hordes of banditos surrounding the house or something like that. Yeah,
Black Bart,
bad hombres,
bad hombres. So what happened was the police had been staking out our house for a while. We had like a really big oak tree, like. It would take two people to hug it in the front yard, and we had bushes and stuff. And the SWAT team had been hiding, checking, much like the Uvalde Police Department. For 45 minutes, they left my deaf child under the bed hiding while they were behind bushes and trees casing the joint. And I couldn't see them. Like they were pretty good at hiding, I guess. But eventually one of these geniuses turned their flashlight on and off briefly behind my tree. And it was like there really are people in my yard. And I don't know that they're police.
Yeah.
But I undeniably saw them use their flashlight briefly in my front yard. And I'm like,
that would be freaky.
What the fuck is happening here? I don't know. So I get my gun. Yeah. I get my gun to protect my family from whoever's in the yard hiding from me. And so I guess I'm coming down the stairs and I don't know, maybe they spot this going on or something and they're pounding on the door. And it went like both ways. They're like, put the gun down. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? And they're like, we're the Apex Police Department. So then I put the gun down. It turns out that what had happened is at the top of the stairwell was my wife. And next to my front door were 2 windows, to make sure my house has no security whatsoever. There were 2 like glass panels next to the door. And they could see my wife alive, who wasn't supposed to be. And that's when they first registered that perhaps this story was inaccurate.
That's when the gears started turning.
That's when the gears started turning. The only reason
They call him the quiet
I'm alive, that my family, who knows how this would have gone down if there weren't windows next to my door.
Or even worse, if it had been like Nerf gun fight night at the Woodworth house. They're looking. They just see shadows through the windows. You're running around.
Yeah. So they had us sit on the porch, and I don't know what's like. It took me a little while to connect it because, like I said, swatting was newer at the time, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know what happened. Someone called you, and this is a prank. I am a Z-list celebrity online, and I get attention from crazy people who do this sort of thing. And they had never heard of swatting either. Like it was a brand new phenomenon. Then I got swatted so many times that I got on like a first name basis. I have the Apex Police Department in my phone. They'd call me up. They'd be like, hey, what, are you killing anyone? I'm like, no. Like, can we send someone by? I'm like, sure. But it wouldn't be SWAT team anymore. It'd be like plainclothes police guys just, talking to me and the wife, and then they'd go. At one
Woody
point,
over here thinks
we
he's a
annoyed
tiered
them.
celebrity.
I said Z.
Oh, wow. Ooh la la. Look at me.
So what bothered me a lot, the police department was irritated with me. They always blamed me for the swatting. They're like, maybe you should stop streaming online. Is it really worth it? It's a waste of our resources. And I told them how much I made, and they're like, all right, it's kind of worth it. But maybe maybe they asked me to leave town. And when the police tell you that you're not welcome in your town anymore, that feels bad. And his boss
police.
His boss came by and apologized. I was like, because I called him out on it. He wasn't alone. His partner was there. And I was like, hey, did you just tell me to leave town? Like, you're a policeman. Like, you can't say that to the people who live here. And they came by and like sort of addressed it and apologized. Anyway, yeah.
Did they give you a gift?
No,
but
he did leave town.
That's true.
That was coincidental. That's not because of them. Yeah,
this guy on Citizen in my neighborhood has said he didn't understand my prank. I was like, oh, it's a prank. Don't worry about it. And he goes, well, I don't understand your prank. I'm like, man, it's not my prank. It's a prank on me. That's trying to get me killed. And he goes, well, I'll tell you who doesn't appreciate it. The parents in the neighborhood who have newborn. Like, man, we're going to have a problem. You know where I live. You know I just shot my wife and then pranked myself for some reason. So why don't you come on over and I'll fucking explain how a prank works to you.
Bring your newborn.
Yeah, bring your newborns.